Yeah. You know, I love the opportunities. I look at them as a growth opportunity in the sense of your leadership. You know, when we talk about leadership in our own personal business, it's really about us. And if we do not, in any way, shape, or form, improve our own personal leadership, our companies will stop at a certain level of growth because we can't see any new opportunities. So when you're involved and you've got people around you supporting you and you're getting some grooming from outside sources, sometimes people that don't know anything about your industry can say the most brilliant things because they're just unaware of what you have to go through. So they ask those really mind-blowing questions like, why? Why do you do it that way? What's stopping you? Or, you know, I don't get that. It doesn't make sense to me. And so sometimes we get knocked off of our train of thinking, which is awesome, because that's where the power of opportunities exist.
And that's without the open mind, without the ability to say, you know what, this isn't just it. There's all kinds of things out there. And it doesn't mean that you have to take every opportunity that comes along, but it allows you to recognize that the opportunities are happening. And what I find is I see opportunity everywhere now. I mean, there's just so much ability to be able to, it's not even about making money. It might be about personal growth. It might be about partnership or relationships or whatnot. But there's a lot of opportunity out there. And I share that with a lot of people. When I see the opportunities, they may not be for me, but I think of someone who has mentioned along the way, well, gee, I was really hoping to be able to do this, and I'll make that connection for them because I recognize that there's opportunities for everyone out there. But it's only because my mind is open to the fact that there's so much more available to me and so much more I can do. And it doesn't mean that I have to work harder at it. It's just the way you view it.
Exactly. Usually the opportunities are there all along, and you haven't been able to see them because you've had your blinders on and you've kind of been going like this. When they come down, all of a sudden it's like, wow, that's new, that's exciting, and I now see it. So it's really kind of an amazing thing because it's been there all along waiting for you to snap out of it. So it's wonderful.
Yeah, so now we're going to talk about the different types of support that you can have in your business. And we've mentioned a few of them as we're going along. And I think we're going to talk a little bit about the spouse syndrome and friends and family and what that means.
Yeah, all of the ones that are closest to us. Let's talk about that one because that's where people are going to go to first. So what do you know about that when people start to go to the family and the friends? What's the places where they win and where they lose?
Yeah, well, the places where they win is that if they have a supportive family and friends, that it's our heart. We're already connected to these people, and if they're supportive, then we feel really great about what we're doing. It makes it much easier for us to move forward quickly. So having a supportive friend and family is a really quick way to start the process of the support. And what do you know about not being supportive?
Yeah, well, I do a little bit of work with that. So occasionally what happens is family and friends, they don't get what you're doing. And if you're doing something that's counter to the culture in your family, you're going to get some resistance. So it's not uncommon for families and friends to actually say, oh, why would you do that? Just go get a job. It's a lot easier. Why would you risk it? Boy, because they're uncomfortable. You know, they're not seeing themselves doing it. It's making them uncomfortable. And so they mean well, and they do care, but they're really just not helping you move forward. So that's some of the disadvantage. The other disadvantage that shows up in my mind is that when people are actually going to a family and friend member, the one thing they don't do is they don't actually really architect how that relationship's got to work differently than normal. And that creates a lot of problem.
Yeah, so you really need to set boundaries around how you're going to communicate with your family, or how they can communicate with you about what it is that they want to give you as support for your company. Some people are not good support in being able to help you with defining your company or what has to go into it, or how you know, just the operations or the marketing or something like that. They just don't have the background in business, and that's okay. I mean, support comes in all different aspects. If they do, then you really want to set boundaries because you want them to know that this is what's going to go in place. These are the styles we have in place. This is our branding that we have in place. Please, if you're going to give us any kind of feedback, make sure it fits within you know, these boundaries.
It takes a lot more work to make it work better, right? It can be a huge emotional payoff, or it can be the opposite as well. So you get a lot of swing there.
And even if you have very, very supportive family and friends, there's always times when a word can be spoken, because you're going to be around them a lot. And because you're in a personal relationship, a close relationship, words can be spoken that are going to be hard to take. So you need to also harden yourself a little bit to not take everything that they say to heart. Because if they're supportive people and they're having a trouble, you know, particularly if they're employees, So the feeling of the risk that you have to take to be in business for yourself may not be as easy for them to understand as it is for you to take.
Yes.
So you need to understand that at some points they may be scared about the chances and the opportunities that you're taking, the risks that you're taking, and they don't know how to handle that.
Exactly.
And if the words are spoken, just take it with a grain of salt and then bring it up to them at another time when they're not emotional and you're not emotional about it, and get it out in the open. Make sure that you have that clear understanding of what it is that they're able to do for you and what you're able to do for them. Make them feel better about how you're taking your risks.
Mm-hmm. It's a great opportunity, and it's also one of those things that's going to really challenge the relationship.
Yeah.
So pick the right people. Not everybody will fit this category.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That's right.
So let's go to the other side of the fence, because the other side of the fence is what we would call a very calculated and very unique way to actually do it. And let's talk about getting involved in a professional, kind of a relationship that's actually designed to give you what you need.
Yeah. So there's a lot of opportunity for this, and not everything costs money. Like I said, I set up an advisory board, which cost me a minimal amount of money, but I had some very high-end people in my advisory board that I had approached that knew me, and people who had been CFOs of very large corporations, including places like Toyota and Ford and whatnot. So
good experience, yeah.
Very good experience. So, if you know some people who have very good business experience and they are on your family friends list, if you can set a structured relationship in place with them, and this came with, my advisory board came with a contract. So they all signed a contract, and it was, I think, 3 or 4 pages, and we set our times, and we committed to doing a certain amount of things, and they were committed for 2 years. And so the relationship, even though outside of this room we were family and friends, inside this room it was a whole different thing. So it really was, and nothing was taken to heart, because this was a business relationship, and you have to recognize that. So that was just one of the types. So tell us some other types.
Well, you can get into a coaching arrangement where you've got somebody that actually has some separate skills, some very unique skills that they can bring to the table. Coaching and mentoring definitely work. In that kind of relationship, it takes time to kind of build it up, but if you get in with the right coach, they're going to find out what makes you work, how you work. There's an understanding that they're there for your personal greatness, so you can do a lot of growth in a very, very quick way, whether it be group coaching or one-on-one. You're there knowing that you're probably going to go into it and come out differently through that process, and it's really a process. It's
I find, and you're a coach as well, and I find when I have clients come in, particularly some who have never been in coaching before, and they're not really sure what the relationship's going to be like or what they're going to get out of it, and they finish that first coaching session, and it just kind of opens their mind into all the different things that they could be doing, because they weren't capable of getting past this first stumbling block, and I had someone come off afterwards and go, "You just wouldn't let it go. You just kept asking me the same question, and I couldn't figure out why until I answered it, and then it just all made sense, and now I know how to move forward. I know what it is that I was missing." But it wasn't that you don't know about it; it's just that you're not looking at it with the same perspective as someone who's outside who can look at it. So coaching and mentoring or group coaching is a really great way of getting some support.
Move forward faster.
Yeah, absolutely.
So another one that you're really an expert at is Mastermind.
Yes, So the Mastermind group, kind of a little like coaching, that there is, it should be facilitated, but you could have one that's unfacilitated. And I did do a blog on that, so check out my blogs if you want to find out how to set up your own Mastermind group, it's on there. But a facilitated Mastermind group has someone who has the ability to keep everyone in check and make sure that they're on task and whatnot. But it's the group itself that brings the jewels to the conversation. There's so much you can learn from other people who have different experiences in life, and they bring such a different perspective on how you can do things. And every time I go, I've been in my own Mastermind group for 5 years. I'm in a paid Mastermind group that takes me out of the country to go to. And for that kind of support, when I ask a question, and there's been a few times I've asked the question knowing what the answer is, because I know it all, right? We all do at some point in our lives. We think we know it all. And you ask the question thinking, I just have nothing else to ask today, but this is interesting. And the feedback I get is always different than what I expect, and it always has some value for me to do something different to make it move quicker. So yeah,
it's awesome.
It is an awesome way.
Yeah, I've gone into Mastermind with a block, and all I could identify it was as a block, and walked out in a few minutes, literally, with phenomenal ideas. And once you get started with, breaking through the wall, somebody just, giving a, well, why don't you do that, or why don't you do this, and you bring it in and it goes click, and it's like somebody took the blinders off, and you've got opportunity then. Yeah, it's a great opportunity.
Yeah, and if you're already, if you're not telling yourself the lies that we talked about before, then those opportunities will, there'll be all kinds of them, and that one block will open up that door, and you'll be going, oh, look at this, I've got so much more I can do in my business, so many other places I could be making money. And a lot of us think, oh, we only have this one way of making money because this is what we're good at. But once we get, those blinders off again, and those opportunities open up, it's like, wow, I have lots of opportunities, there's lots of different products I can put out, there's lots of things I can be doing, there's lots of ways I can reach out to my clients in different industries and different aspects that are sometimes outside of what the average person or average company would do. So.
Excellent stuff. So those would be some of the main areas that you could actually, get some mastermind or get some, support. And the key here is about getting the support. So it's not about, which one you choose. It's about knowing that you need it, knowing that you're going to benefit from it. And as a business owner, considering it part of your business day to actually do it every day and work on it. So you're working on the business and not just doing all the technical stuff inside of it.
So those, the third type of support, and we didn't talk about this, so I'm going to surprise you with it.
Good.
But this is really, a lot of us are in business for ourselves and we work alone. So it is outsourcing some of the things that you have to get done. Yep. So, and this is not support for your personal growth, but support for your business growth. So don't be afraid to, also don't get into the mindset, well, I can't really afford it, because honest to gosh, your business will grow much faster as soon as you start handing off the things that you shouldn't be doing.
Yeah.
So and whether you get a virtual assistant, or you get an assistant to come in, or whether you hire a student to help clean up your office, or just get someone to come in to focus on one thing in your business, or you actually get an employee, getting the people in to do the things that you shouldn't be doing in your business so that you can focus on the things that you should be doing is going to accelerate your business faster than well, any kind of support can always do that. So.
The exciting part about that? Stops guilt. I had a client that actually just went through this whole cycle. We were trying to get something done, gets on the phone and goes, I don't really want to talk today because I didn't get done what and I don't know why. It was easy, I should have been able to do it, but I seemed to get stuck. I thought I was going to get stuck with the first part. I went through that, and the second part, I got stuck on. And I said to him, well, what does it feel like? And he said, it's really heavy. I don't feel like I can do it, and it's really simple. And and he's going through this whole cycle of stuff, and I said, wait a minute here, how much do you make per hour? And we calculated it out. He makes about $200 an hour. And I said, so why are you doing something that you can hire out for $15 or $20 an hour? There's people that would love to help you with that.
Yeah.
And he goes, really? I said, even if it costs you $50, you're still ahead.
Yes.
And he goes, wow, I like that. That was it. It was over.
Yeah, and I guess that's another benefit. It stops your guilt, right?
Yeah,
and I never thought of that, but that's so true. It lightens, and you can go through your day without feeling that you have so much to do, and you just keep putting off those few things that you know you can't get through.
Exactly.
So I love that. That's brilliant.
Yeah, it's perfect.
Okay.
So this has been part 3 of how to make this the best year ever for yourself. We encourage you to take a look at parts 1 and part 2, and definitely do something about getting yourself a little bit of help along the way and keeping yourself accountable so that you can keep your growth going forward.
Right. And we would love to get your feedback, so if you want to fill in the comments below and let us know what you think, if there's some support systems that you've put in place that have worked really well for you, we would love to hear that. We'd be happy to answer back on that. And of course, check out both of Rich's and mine websites so that you can get some other ideas with the blogs and some information on how you can grow your business faster.
Yeah, free stuff.
Free stuff.
Yeah, free stuff. This is Rich Grof from RG Performance Development.
And Barb Stuhlemmer with Bliss Business Success.
Have a great year.